Hi, I'm Natalie. Welcome back to Sacred and Bloom. You may have found me through my guided meditations, or you may have found this because it was just meant for you to hear today. Either way, I'm glad you're here and thank you for joining me. Today's video is more of a heart share than a polished teaching. I have been sitting in some creative resistance lately, some stuckness, and instead of trying to fight it or force myself to push through, I thought I would just come in here and speak to you about where I am, because I have this feeling that I'm not the only one navigating this right now. So today I want to talk to you about surrender. Not the kind that feels like giving up, and not that like floaty, disconnected kind. I'm talking about real, grounded, soul level surrender. The kind that happens when you've tried everything, when you're exhausted, when you're taking aligned action, but it just doesn't feel like it's flowing, and you're starting to realize something else is being asked of you. And I want to talk about it in a way that's actually usable, not just concept, but something you can feel in your body. Because I know a lot of us, especially in midlife, are in a season where we are trying to make something happen, whether it's a long held dream or a healing process or a relationship shift or a business or reinvention of self, and it's just not clicking. And you're feeling like you're rowing upstream, right? If you're feeling like you're rowing upstream right now, this is for you. If you're just here for the meditations, that's okay too. Feel free to skip this one. But I want you to know that everything I teach is part of a larger picture. Meditation is powerful, certainly, but if you're trying to shift your life in a real and lasting way, you also need nervous system support. You need somatic tools. You need to be able to see the patterns and your beliefs and the way you're still gripping when your soul is asking you to soften. So we're talking about surrender today because it's one of those things that keeps showing up in almost every area on my journey right now, honestly, and in almost every conversation I'm having with other women. So let's go there. So what is surrender, really? Surrender is allowing, right? It's a shift. When you feel like you realize that you're fighting the current and you relax. You let yourself shift from controlling to trusting, from exhausting yourself trying to force the thing to softening enough to let it find you. So when I'm talking about surrender, I'm not talking about the fluffy kind, not like the let go and everything will be fine, like blind, like not like giving up, right? I mean, the surrender that happens when you've tried all the things, when you're doing the work, you're taking the aligned action. Maybe you've made a vision board, you've cried, you've journaled, maybe you've pulled tarot cards, and maybe you've screamed into a few pillows, and still it's just not flowing. It's like being in a rowboat, but you're going upstream and you're rowing so hard and your arms are tired and your back hurts and you're like, fuck, I should be further by now. But the current just keeps pushing against you. If that's where you're at, I see you. And I want to talk about what surrender really looks like when you're in that space, because it's not about giving up or checking out. It's more about shifting how you're holding the thing. Okay? So I said that I wanted to give you some, tangible, usable stuff here. So I do want to walk through the 5 core practices that I feel can help you move from forcing to flowing. But before I do that, I do want to just share something that happened this morning. I've been thinking about surrender all week, honestly. But I walked into my office. I have a little office in a co-working space. And I ran into the woman who owns the space, who is just an absolute delight. And we had this spontaneous little chat, and guess what it was about? Surrender. So she was telling me about this thing she's trying to make happen for her business and how she's doing all the steps. She's pushing and pushing, and there just keep having these blocks that are coming up, all of these things to slow the process down or just something that isn't coming through, and, Mercury is in retrograde right now, which there may be some of that, and maybe that's happening for you, but it's not just that, right? Sometimes you want something so much and you're pushing so hard. And if you're not on the right path, or maybe there's something that needs to fall into place, and I'm going to get into this. The universe is asking you to slow down. And what dropped in for me as we were talking, sometimes when things aren't moving for you, it's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because the universe is holding you still long enough to drop something into place. And this hit me, right? Because how often do we assume that delay means failure? When actually maybe something is just taking shape that we can't see yet. Sometimes it's the universe shifting pieces on the board that you can't see. It may be protecting you from something that you think you want that may not actually be in your highest good. It's not punishment. It's a pause. It's a necessary recalibration. And you don't always get to see the chessboard. In fact, I think most of the time we don't. You don't know what's being moved behind the scenes. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. And when we resist that, when we keep rowing upstream, even though the boat clearly wants to turn, we just end up exhausted and discouraged and disconnected from our own inner guidance. So let's talk about what actually helps us surrender. Here are 5 practices that could shift your energy and help you to stop forcing and start flowing. The first one is, and you're not going to want to hear this, is detach from the outcome. This is one of the hardest ones for me personally, especially when I poured my whole heart into something or someone. And I know you've probably been there too. When you want the thing so bad, it feels right. The job, the relationship, the healing, the creative project, the vision that's been living in your bones. But when we hold it with tight, anxious hands, we block the magic. It's like we're saying, this is the only way I will accept being supported, and we slam the door on all the other paths the universe might want us to use. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It doesn't mean I don't care. It means I'm showing up with love and intention. But I'm not going to try to micromanage how this unfolds, because we're constantly in co-creation. It means trusting that even if it doesn't go exactly the way you want, you're still being guided. It's understanding that the universe may be moving pieces on the board that you can't see to help bring into manifestation what you're calling in. And sometimes we have to create space for that and continue to take the aligned action while still simultaneously releasing the outcome. And that is hard, right? So how do we do that? Regulate your nervous system. This is a big one, because you cannot surrender if your body does not feel safe. You can't. You just can't. If your nervous system is in fight or flight, surrender feels like danger. It feels like weakness. It feels like death. And for so many of us, especially women, especially caregivers, especially those of us who have experienced trauma or chronic overwhelm, or if you have very high empathy, like me, right? Our bodies have learned to equate letting go or releasing control with being unsafe. So this is why I tell you over and over again and teach you ways to regulate your nervous system. This is why I'm launching the 90-day nervous system reset course here soon. Because when you learn to bring your body back into a place of calm, and you are able to create safety from within, you have to do that to get to a place where surrender is even available. And you will find so many things start to open up. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. It could be a few minutes of breath work. It could be, 10 minutes of somatic release before you hop into bed at night. It can be intentional, conscious movement. Tuning in, laying on the floor, breathing into your belly. This is the foundation. It shifts your biology so you can soften instead of spiral. When your body feels safe, your soul gets louder, and suddenly you're not gripping so hard. You're not checking your phone. You're not perseverating on something or someone. You're just here. You're present. You're rooted. You're clear. But that begins with taking your power back by understanding that you have the ability to create that safety that you're looking for by being in control, by controlling outcomes, by pacing relationships, or trying to force things into place. That control, at the bottom of that, what is it that you're seeking? It's probably safety, right? And obviously some of that is driven by our passion, hopefully, right? We just want what we want, and it's okay to desire. But when you desire and you focus your passion from a place of allowing and safety, your hands are open, you're not grasping. And I talked about that in a previous video. The third thing is to embrace equanimity. What is that? It is beautiful, embodied calm. It's not that you don't care or that you've given up. It's that you release your attachment to the drama. Equanimity is the moment you breathe through a wave of panic and realize, I am still okay. When something doesn't work out and you are able to still access your own quiet steadiness that allows you to respond instead of react. It's about being able to hold uncertainty without unraveling. And again, it's not something you just decide to have. It's something you build. It's something you practice with nervous system regulation, with daily practices, with letting go of some of the mental junk that we carry. And realizing what's truly important, right? Number 4 is trusting in divine timing. This kind of goes along with releasing the outcome, but it's sort of its own thing. This one might make your inner control freak really twitch. I certainly struggle with this myself sometimes, although I'm getting better. The more I have healed, the more that I have seen this to be true. When something isn't happening, it's usually a deeper reason. Something or someone else needs to align. Sometimes you're still in the preparation phase. Sometimes you're being protected, and sometimes it's just not time yet. And that's okay. Before I started this video, I pulled a card from my Pathfinder Oracle deck before I started, just to see what come up. And what I got was fruit card, and it's actually a little mushroom. And the explanation it gives for the card is that fruit is an inconceivable gift offered by the invisible efforts of another being. And whether it's the universe or other people, I would encourage you to believe that there are forces at work on your behalf that you can't see. And just because the thing that you want, the relationship you want, the business that you want, the outcome that you want. Just because it's not visible does not mean it's not unfolding. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is pause and tell that part of ourselves that's freaking out that it is safe to trust that what is meant for you is already on its way. Okay? And that leads into 5, which is taking aligned action without attachment. Again, surrender. It's not passivity. It's not sitting back and waiting for life to come rescue you or waiting for something to happen. It's about showing up fully without gripping the outcome for dear life. Okay? So when you're taking action, you're checking in with your body. Am I in alignment? How does this feel? Do I feel good? And if you don't feel good, lean back. Lean back, take a moment, and think to yourself, okay, why am I doing something that doesn't feel good? And potentially, what do I need? What do I need to feel good? What would feel good? Sometimes that's rest. Sometimes that is allowing a little more space for things to unfold, right? But once you start to tune in with your nervous system and your body, you're going to feel what the right thing is. You just have to trust that. And that can be hard too, because we're not used to listening to our bodies. A lot of us shut that shit way down. You're up here in your head, right? You're up here figuring it out instead of feeling it. Sometimes that's not always serving you. So aligned action is doing the things, taking the steps, having the conversation, making the offer, recording the video, writing the book, sending the message, whatever it is, doing the art. You do it, and then you let it breathe. You stop checking for signs every 2 seconds, or you relax enough that you can even see the signs, the synchronicities, and you stop attaching your worth to outcomes, to how things land. You stay open, but rooted in yourself. You stay clear and present. That's aligned action. When your aligned action can come from surrendered energy, that's magnetic. That's when you really start to pull in good shit. Okay? One last thing that I want to leave you with. Actually, I've got a couple things. If you've ever seen the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly, and this is just something that came up for me the other day, and I want to share it in case it resonates with anybody else. But there's a scene where Jennifer Connelly's character is walking into this space that's filled with junk. She's on a mission to rescue her baby brother from the realm of the Goblin King, who is excellently and deliciously played by David Bowie. And the Goblin King is trying to distract her from her purpose. And so he kind of sends her into this area filled with junk. And in this area, there's this old woman who is got this huge pile of crap on her back. Okay? There's broken toys and worn out relics and memories and all of these things. And Jennifer Connelly's character is in there, and she's kind of confused and looking around and trying to get her bearings. And she's feeling really uncomfortable and unsettled, right? She's not sure where to go or what to do or what's happening. And this woman with all the crap on her back starts handing her these things like, here's your teddy bear, that thing that you loved that made you feel safe. And for a second, she starts to take these things and they start like sticking to her body. Like, and you can see that if she stays there, she's going to end up like this woman who's weighed down with all this old crap. But her character remembers, oh, I have purpose. I don't need this stuff. I have purpose. I'm supposed to be saving my baby brother. So for a moment, she like kind of forgets what she's supposed to be doing, and she's so uncomfortable that she starts to, take on all of this stuff that used to comfort her. And it just made me think about how it can be so easy to get distracted from your purpose. Like when something happens, or when you're in a state of discomfort, right? Discomfort is where your growth is happening, babe. So a lot of times when we get uncomfortable, we back off of our purpose, or we return gifts that are meant for us from the universe, because we think, oh, I can't do that. I don't deserve that. That's not something I was ready for, right? Sometimes that happens. Or you are making these big shifts, but there's a little detour that tries to pull you back into your old self or your old ways of doing something that might have comforted you before, but really you've outgrown. And so to tie this back to surrender, maybe surrender is also not forgetting the things that once comforted you, or the things that once served you or once worked for you. It's not pretending those things didn't matter, but it's realizing that you don't need to carry all that shit with you in order to feel safe, in order to feel loved, in order to move forward. Let that shit go, so that you can move into this new timeline, so that you can call in, so that you have room for all of this new stuff that you're calling in. A dream, a relationship, a person, whatever it is that you're trying to call in, this timeline that you're trying to step into. This is your reminder to soften. You don't have to force your way into anything, because anything that is truly meant for you could not be kept from you if it wanted to. You can let it come. Okay? Just real quick, when I was thinking about doing this morning, and I've actually tried to do this video a couple times and it just was not working. So, in case you don't know, I have been a tarot and card reader since I was like 15. So for like 30 something years, giving away my age a little bit there. That's okay. And so it's part of my process of accessing my own intuition. I like to pull cards about stuff. I like to look at stuff, and I just thought that maybe I would pull one. So if you're still here, and I feel like whoever is still here, there is a message for you that I'm supposed to share. So I just wanted to pull 2 quick cards for you. The first one is the Divine Animals Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Ritual with the bison. So I could look at the book, but what this makes me think of is if you're in a place where you're feeling out of control, where you're feeling like you're stuck or something isn't coming or it's not unfolding in the way that you intend, what are you doing, or what can you do, or what are you doing to support yourself? What rituals and self-care are you doing? Like I said, with your nervous system, what are you doing to calm yourself? What are you doing to ease yourself? And is it just old ways that you're used to that maybe aren't the best thing for you anymore? Like all the shit that Jennifer Connelly was trying to put on? Or can you develop new rituals that support you in this time? So the book says, live with authenticity and peace. Do not live how other people wish you to live. Your life is yours. Bringing the peace of ritual into our lives can heal us. Nourish yourself and develop habits that are beneficial and useful for you and for your family. I like that. So maybe that's helpful for you. One more. I'm going to take a little sip of water. The other one, and I love this, is the Herbal Astrology deck by Adriana Ayales. And just for whoever's listening, what is the message? What is the message for whoever's listening? Let's give them a little support. Shape-shifting, joy, and action. Interesting. So, joy to me is obvious. No matter where things are for you right now, are you finding joy? And if you're not, why not? Because even when things are not working out in your life, that more than anything is an invitation to find your joy. If you're not seeing it, you got to go out and find it. When you're in the frequency of joy, that's when you are incredibly magnetic. That's when things come into alignment for you. When you're in this emotionally constipated, tense, anxious, grasping, exhausted place, you're not attracting anything good. You're not. When you're in your joy and you're taking action from that place, that's when things open. That's where the magic happens, right? So I do want to look at shape-shifting. I don't have all these memorized, but since it came up, I want to read it to you. I won't read you the whole thing, but yeah. So I feel like we'll see what this says, but the message that I'm hearing is, babe, go find your joy. Take aligned action from joy, not from grasping. And things are going to fall into place. Surrender and go find joy. And I know maybe that sounds hard, but honestly, it's everywhere. You just have to look. You just have to allow it. Surrender to the idea that there is always joy available for you. You just have to go find it. Shape-shifting. Subconscious healing, synchronizing inner and outer worlds, shape-shifting, time travel, transcendence of illusion. Represents the ability to shape-shift and adapt across realities, like the dragonfly. You may have been seeing those come up. Grants us the power to break through the illusionary facade we often accept as reality, providing us the freedom from pain in order to break through limiting illusions. Dragonflies, like this plant, Mitragina. Help us initiate subconscious healing from the trauma experienced from endless cycles of pain and suffering. Dragonfly medicine invites us to seek out the parts of our habits that have gone unchanged, unnoticed, and stagnant. Ask yourself, have I tended to the changes I have been wanting to make? Don't get lost in the labyrinths of self-doubt. Break free from elusive belief systems that hold back your transformation. Honestly, that's a good one. For surrender, that's a good one. So I'm glad I pulled these. The shape shifting. Oh, there's a naked lady on there. Probably should have covered her up. The shape shifting. That's asking you to surrender your old crap, which is what I said about the Labyrinth movie. Let go of the crap that is holding you back. Let go of the old ways of being, the old ways of doing you, and let yourself become with joy. Take aligned action. Let go of the outcome. Support your nervous system. Create rituals that support you. I have the 90-day nervous system reset course coming up. I'm hoping to release it here in August. And it is going to have rituals and things that you can do daily to help you shift your nervous system so that you can come back into your power, so that you have more control and more calm and more peace and more joy in your life by accessing the power and calm that is always available to you when you regulate yourself. So, did a little something different today. I hope that worked for you. If you've stayed this long, that message was for you. And I'm sending you so much love and positive wishes and magic for whatever it is that you're trying to create. And I hope it comes to you very soon. And I have an Aphrodite meditation, Aphrodite temple guided meditation that should be coming to you on Saturday. I invite you to check out my Patreon, where I am going to be releasing some special stuff only for my subscribers before the nervous system course comes out. So I also put stuff in there that's not available here on YouTube. So anyway, I'm going to put the link in the description, and I just hope this was helpful. I'm trying something a little different, like I said, and I just hope it resonated with you. And if it did, I invite you to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel. And share if there's someone else who you think needs to think about surrender, or if you just had a conversation with somebody about surrender, maybe this is for them too. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening, and I will see you next time in a new video. Take care.